Well, I just read the first issue in DC's new event, Heroes in Crisis. Guess who just got murdered? That's a reference to Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's a joke from a sitcom. I wasn't just being a total insensitive jerk. It seemed like a very appropriate joke to make at the time. So yeah, Heroes in Crisis. Whoo boy, this is going to be a rough one to talk about because the best way that I can sum this book up is to say it is indeed a Tom King book. And by that I mean there's a lot of people out there who are going to love it, there's a lot of people out there who are going to hate it, and there's going to be very little wiggle room in the middle, and I can totally understand everybody's point of view on this one. If you absolutely hated this, I totally understand. I'm not going to debate you on that. Yeah, every single reason that you would have to hate this, totally understandable. But if you love this issue, I totally see that as well. I kind of get where everyone is coming from on this issue. And as I've said many times, this is the internet. You're not allowed to understand both people's point of view on an issue. Now, for anybody who has not read this issue, but you're still planning on reading this issue, I will not spoil the big reveal until the end of this video because it is entirely possible for me to give you guys my opinions on this book without actually spoiling that one big thing, except that I do have to eventually spoil that one big thing. So I will warn everybody when we get up to the spoiler, so you're fine for now. But let's go ahead and talk about what this book is actually about. This is all about this secret facility known as Sanctuary, and it's basically a place where superheroes go to deal with their issues. It is basically just a giant safe house for heroes to go when they've kind of just had enough. When every single thing that they have seen, when all the crazy foes that they have faced, when every single personal issue that they have had building up finally gets to them, yeah, they kind of have to talk it out. They kind of have to work with someone. And this is a place being run by robots, and it's robots made by Kryptonian technology that has the hope and honor of Superman, the heart of Wonder Woman, and the brain of Batman in there. So basically they are the perfect machines to help these heroes deal with whatever issues they are going through. And this issue is all about Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman racing to Sanctuary, and when they arrive there, they find everyone who was at Sanctuary is dead. Now, I will go ahead and say, I actually love this setup. This is an amazing premise for a book. From what the book was kind of pitched as, it seemed like it was just going to be these heroes dealing with their own personal crises, or crises, I guess I should say. And I was very intrigued by that because it was being written by Tom King, and I actually really like Tom King, but I like him almost from a psychological standpoint because, yes, comic books are a form of art, and when you create art, you do need to put a piece of yourself in there, and Tom King used to be a CIA operative working over in Iraq. He has seen soldiers go through very serious stuff. He has seen soldiers have to deal with PTSD and have to face giant tragedies, and it looked like he was basically going to try and take his own personal real-world experience and have these superheroes work through it. He was going to have these heroes kind of go through the same steps and process that a lot of real-world soldiers have gone through. I found that to be a very intriguing premise for a book, and I was actually really excited to see how he was going to pull that off. But when you pick this book up, it becomes very clear that, okay, you get these little pages here and there that are the classic Tom King 9-panel layout. He absolutely loves himself a 9-panel layout. And they are these interviews with these heroes, and you can tell, yeah, they're dealing with some stuff. And that's one thing that I actually really do like about this issue. You can feel the heart in this book. When it gets to those moments in which these characters are being interviewed, yeah, it's only for a page, but you are able to feel the weight that is on these heroes' shoulders in just that one page. And it does have that little personal touch that I was looking forward to in this book. So I did really enjoy those bits of this issue. However, it feels almost like they took the premise that Tom King wanted to do and they said, well, you can't just have it be characters dealing with their emotions for 5 or 6 issues. No, you gotta have a twist in there. You gotta have something that'll hook people. So they come in here and someone attacked Sanctuary. Someone attacked the safe place that these heroes were supposed to go to deal with their PTSD and killed them all. That's also a great premise for a book. That is an insane murder mystery. That is the kind of thing that you read about and you just look at it and go, oh my god, I want to know the answer to this. What kind of twists and turns is this story going to take as it goes forward? Yeah, I'm actually really intrigued to see where this story goes. So that's the positives that I have with this book. The negatives are that these weren't just a bunch of no-name heroes. There are a few, like, very, very lesser-known heroes, some of whom haven't even popped up in this new 52/Rebirth universe that we're dealing with right now. Like, Hotspot is one of them in there. I don't think Hotspot has actually been seen anywhere in the new 52/Rebirth. I might be wrong about that, but man, if he has been somewhere, it's been so little, I don't remember at all. And Blue Jay was in there, and Blue Jay, I think, popped up for like a microsecond in that last Justice League of America series. So, yeah, it's characters who were very, very small. No pun on Blue Jay there. But, yeah, okay, if you want to pick some characters to do, you know, it will have more of an impact if they are named characters, if they're not just brand new characters who you create just to be killed off in this book. You do need to get somebody who a reader might recognize in order for there to be some kind of an impact. So it's like, all right, Blue Jay, Hotspot, I know those names, so there, okay, mission accomplished. But then it gets revealed who the two big characters are that die. And I'm not talking about them just yet. I'm not talking, you're all safe, you're all fine, you're still okay. But it gets revealed who the two big name characters are. And I looked at that and I thought, I should really be mad at that. But I'm not, for a couple of reasons. First reason is because last night I saw the My Hero Academia movie, and it's kind of hard for me not to be just smiling for a week now because of that. That is a charming, delightful superhero movie. If you guys have never checked out My Hero Academia, whoo, some of you are gonna need to watch that after reading this issue, because this was a downer, and you're gonna need a big old pick-me-up. So that's my recommendation to you guys. Sorry, that was just a joke. Just had to get that out of the way right now, because we were getting real serious there, and I needed a big dose of levity. So that isn't one of the actual reasons why I'm not mad at this. One of the actual reasons why I'm not that mad to see two of these major characters dead, even though one of them is one of my all-time favorite characters, is simply because one of the unofficial protagonists of this event is Booster Gold. And there is a huge mystery here because you see that Booster Gold and Harley Quinn were two of the people who were at Sanctuary, but they somehow survived whatever happened, but now they're trying to kill each other, and clearly something happened between them, and both of them kind of feel like they're partly responsible for what happened to these heroes. You can tell they are both hiding something massive. The big secret of what happened is going to revolve around them. And Booster Gold has time travel powers. So I'm not saying they are going to do this. I'm not coming in here and going, it's fine, everybody, I guarantee you this is what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no clue at all. But when I look over at Booster Gold, I see a big ol' undo button sitting right there. And someone pointed this out to me on Twitter that because of Flash War, time travel is gone. Flash War said no one can travel through time anymore. I was like, oh shoot, okay, I guess that is kind of off the table. But then someone else pointed out to me, again, it did not say no one can travel through time. It said speedsters cannot travel through time. And then someone else came in here and they said, I had a whole big exchange going on Twitter last night about this. Someone else came in here and said, well, Commander Cold isn't a speedster, but he can't travel through time. But then I remember the reason why Commander Cold can't travel through time is because his time travel was created by Zoom, which allowed him to tap into the same time traveling abilities that speedsters have. So if the Speed Force is no longer allowing people to time travel, Commander Cold would not be able to time travel even though he is not a speedster. Wow, I wonder why people have so much trouble getting into comics sometime. I wonder why so many people talk about all this being confusing. My point is, even though Flash War happened, and that says that speedsters can no longer travel through time, Booster Gold's technology does not rely on the Speed Force, so he himself can still travel through time. So, he is still kind of a big ol' undo button sitting right over there. That, and also, let's be real, do you think Tom King actually really cares that Flash War says that you can't travel through time? I mean, no offense to Tom King on this, but he is a guy who comes in here and says, I have a story to tell, I'm gonna tell that story. So it doesn't really matter whether or not Flash Force said one thing or another. Tom King is going to find a way for Booster Gold to be able to travel through time. Plus, Tom King has actually said that he is currently working on a Booster Gold series. It'd be kind of weird to have a Booster Gold series where time travel is not a thing anymore. So yeah, I still look at Booster Gold as a big ol' undo button sitting right over there. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not that mad at this whole thing. But just because I'm not that mad at the whole thing doesn't mean that I still don't have some negative feelings towards all this. And the first one is that let's say that they do that. Let's say that they do hit the big ol' undo button, have Booster Gold go back in time, prevent any of this stuff from happening. That kind of feels cheap to me. It kind of feels like, okay, so you would just have this massive event, and at the end of it, it doesn't really affect anyone because no one would have any memories of any of this stuff happening. Except for Booster Gold. Because Booster Gold, as I said, he does have his own series on the way that is, at the moment being hinted at, will be written by Tom King, the guy who is writing this book here. And I kept thinking to myself, wow, what better setup for a series than to have Booster Gold knowing that he has this massive secret about some horrible stuff that he and Harley Quinn did, and he's the only one who has that memory, and he has to live with that. And these 5 or 6 issues for this event is basically just a massive character study of Booster Gold. It's basically just a giant breaking down of Booster Gold, all kind of to get him ready for his own series coming after this. I wouldn't be that opposed to it. I mean, yes, again, I would kind of be miffed. I was like, oh, so literally this whole big thing was just a charade just here to set up another series. Yeah, I would not be happy with that. But I'm kind of seeing them do that as they're doing it, so I'm approaching this differently. It's not like I went into this book, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they're doing this. I kind of see this path that they're kind of setting out there. So yeah, it's not like I'm looking at this like, oh, they betrayed me on this one. I was like, no, I think I know what you're doing, and kind of knowing what they're doing ahead of time, and they're going to use this as just one massive character study of Booster Gold, I'm kind of more okay with it. That being said, again, this is just a theory. This is absolutely just a theory. They might come in here and go, no, it actually all did happen, and none of this is for any Booster Gold series. This is just some really messed up stuff that happened. And if that's the case, then when all this is over with, I will come back in here with very different opinions. That's another one of the reasons why I'm not that upset about this, is simply because, yeah, this issue raised a ton of questions. And I can't get that mad at a thing until I have answers to those questions. Because yes, if they come in here and they go, we're not hitting the big old undo button at all, nope, and this is not being a setup for another series out there, and those 2 characters are absolutely dead, and we killed them, one of your favorite characters of all time, off panel, yeah, I'll be mad. I will be mad. But I don't know if that's what's happening right now. As I said, if Booster Gold was not in this, I would feel very differently, but instead, I'm looking at this book not as, oh my god, they just killed one of my favorite characters. I'm looking at it more as, okay, this is like an Elseworlds book. This is like a what-if storyline. This is an alternate reality storyline. That is how I am looking at this at the moment, because to me, I am kind of looking at it like, yeah, it's all just here to be a really dark character study of Booster Gold, and at the end of this, it could all be completely undone. So, yeah, I'm kind of right in the middle on that one. So that's another reason why I'm not that mad at this. And there's another reason why I'm not that mad at this book, and also it's one of those reasons why I'm like, okay, I gotta wait and see. I can't really form an opinion on this until I know what they have planned with all this. And I do now have to reveal who the characters are that died. One of them was Arsenal, Roy Harper. Which, yeah, you want to put him at Sanctuary, a place where characters who are dealing with massive issues in their life, who have PTSD or drug addiction or other demons that are haunting them. Yeah, Roy Harper is kind of the spokesperson for that in the DC universe, so it would make absolute sense for him to be there. The other one is Wally West. And I mean Rebirth Wally West. I mean the old classic DC universe Wally West, who we had to break all reality to finally get that guy back. We finally did it. Finally got that Wally West that so many of us grew up with. He's finally back, and they killed him off panel. And, man, I say I'm not that mad at this because I'm waiting to see where it went, but just saying those words out loud, yeah, it kind of hurts. It kind of hurts just saying that. When you actually state what they did here, that they took a character that we had all loved and been waiting for to return, and after so many years, he's finally back and came back in such an emotional way, and then they kill him off panel. Yeah, it kind of hurts just saying that. And wow, I'm going through my own therapy session right now. Maybe I am a little bit mad about all this. But the other reason why I said I need to wait and see what they have planned, and I'm not that mad at the moment on this, is because, as I said, we had to break all of time and space to get Wally West back. And when he came back, he revealed the big old mystery of, okay, the Watchmen are the ones who broke reality. The Watchmen did all of this. Also, I know secrets about the past universe. I am the key to all of this. I am kind of a major deal in this storyline that is going on and shaping the entire DC universe. I can't imagine them killing that guy off panel. I can't imagine them doing that. It just wouldn't make any sense at all to me. I couldn't even fathom the reason why that they would do that. Unless there is actually one reason why I could see them actually killing off this character who was supposed to be a major deal for any storylines going forward in the DC universe and was such a beloved character. I can actually see a reason why they would kill this character off. And it's not because this is technically a Crisis book and a Flash always has to die in a Crisis book. Okay, it is time now to get into crazy ass Conspiracy Town. And I hate going into crazy ass Conspiracy Town. There's nothing good in crazy ass Conspiracy Town. That entire town is run down and it's just loaded with nothing but people mumbling to themselves around burning copies of their old books. Yeah, man, it is not a good place to be. You go into crazy ass Conspiracy Town normal and then you come out with just all these supplements and you just think that they're going to make you immortal. They won't. It's a stupid thing to buy into. But anyway, okay, here we go. Time to go just very quickly through crazy ass Conspiracy Town. As I said, Wally West died. And it seems really stupid that they would kill Wally West off, especially off camera, when he has to do with this major storyline building with the Watchmen, and Geoff Johns worked so hard to bring him back. Geoff Johns is no longer in any kind of a leadership role over at DC Comics. He is still writing for DC Comics as an independent agent, but he left his leadership position over there. Meaning that Wally no longer really had the big guy at the top protecting him, and instead the only guy left at the top was Dan DiDio, a guy who was outspoken in how much he did not like Wally West. In fact, there are many stories from behind the scenes, and again, this is all crazy-ass Conspiracy Town, but remember when Geoff Johns brought Hal Jordan back? Apparently, the deal that he had to make with DiDio, and again, all crazy-ass Conspiracy Town here, apparently the deal that he made with DiDio was that DiDio would let him bring Hal Jordan back if he also wrote a storyline bringing Barry Allen back, because DiDio did not want Wally West to be the Flash. And Wally West has actually died as the Flash many, many times under DiDio's watch. And yet the fans kept bringing him back, and yet DiDio kept asking for him to be murdered all over again. So Geoff Johns is no longer in a position to hold on to Wally West. And Geoff Johns left that position roughly about, 4 months ago? About the time that they would have to have been working on this book and pitching this book, and around the time that they had to choose which characters would live or die. So either DiDio said, I'm definitely killing this guy, I hate him, I don't care, he's definitely dying. And Geoff Johns said, well then I'm not working in this position anymore. I'll still write the books I promised to write, but I'm not doing this stuff anymore. Or Geoff Johns said, listen man, I'm not allowed to write the books I want to write because I have to do all this business stuff. I'm going to leave the business side alone. I'm just going to be an independent writer working for you guys. And then the second that his desk was cleared off, the Dio said, all right, what's the next book that we could possibly kill Wally West in? And again, this is all crazy-ass conspiracy town, but that is the one way that I can actually look at Wally West's death and say, oh, that might actually be real. And if it is real, if this is actually happening, it raises so many questions about the future of DC Comics. Because, yeah, it's really just a dirty move there to kill this character off when Rob Williamson over in the Flash book had set up so many storylines for this guy. He had so many unanswered questions left for Wally West, and it doesn't seem like any of that is going to now be answered. If this is real, which again, I'm saying I don't think it really is, but if it is, because that's what they want us to think, they want us to think that's real, so if it is real, then yeah, it's kind of just a dirty move to kill this character off when another writer had been working so hard on him. But also, as I said, he was kind of a big point behind this whole mystery of the New 52 universe and of Rebirth and of the Watchmen. He was kind of a massive character in all of this. He kind of was going to play a huge role. He was kind of a central figure in all of this. And if DiDio just got him killed off for no reason that I can really tell other than, I don't know, spite, just not liking the character, whatever the reason might be, what does that now do for all the stuff that we've been building up to for years now? Rebirth has been around for 2 years now, and the New 52 was around for 5 years before that. This whole new universe that they have had has now all been leading up to this one moment, and it feels like you just killed off the character who was kind of the big key to all of this. The thing that was going to answer all of these mysteries. The guy with the power to make everybody remember their past and actually awaken all the past selves and the hidden history of this entire reality. If he's gone now, what is all of this for? And again, if like say Jeff Johns had come in here, the guy who had laid all of this out, and he had Wally West die in a story that he was writing that had to do with this big mystery, then okay, that would be one thing. That was all part of the plan. But instead he died in a completely unrelated book, off screen. I mean, I guess you could come in here and say that Heroes in Crisis is actually part of Rebirth. And, I mean, of course it's part of Rebirth, but you know what I mean, part of the whole Watchmen Doomsday Clock thing, and this was all just according to plan, and this was all just leading up to this, and it was actually Dr. Manhattan who killed all of them. I guess that could be a thing that happens, and then it's like, okay, well, now I'm listening, I see where this is going, but I don't think that's what this is at all. I don't think that has anything to do with this. If Wally West is actually dead, then it feels almost like just kind of shooting yourself in the foot. It kind of just feels like biting off your own tongue to spite your face here. Because like, okay, well, we kind of need this guy to make all these storylines that we've been building actually work. I don't like that character. Well, too bad, because we need him to, where'd he go? Why is he dead in this completely unrelated issue? But again, that's one of the reasons why I'm not that mad at this issue. Because if that is actually what happened, oh yeah, oh man, that is awful. But I can't imagine anyone, I don't want to name call or anything here, but I kind of have to. I can't imagine anyone being that stupid. I can't imagine anybody pulling a move like that where they kill off a character who was very important to the entire universe off screen in an unrelated book. I can't imagine that actually happening. That's why I think all of this is going to be fake. That's why I think at the moment that, yeah, this is all just going to end with Booster Gold going back in time and undoing all this. And if you're mad, again, that this is all just a setup for a story that ends up equaling nothing and nothing comes out of it, I can understand that. And if I didn't already kind of see this possibility happening at the beginning here, I would be mad when that reveal happened as well. But because, to me, it looks like this is all meant to just be a 5 or 6 issue long character study of Booster Gold, taking him down a dark path, I'm actually far more intrigued with it. That's the way that I'm looking at it now. Granted, it could be the denial phase of the 5 stages of grief. So, by the time the issue 2 comes out here, I could just come back and just be incredibly angry, then come back when issue 3 comes out and just be like, alright, DC, listen, I'll make you a deal. I will buy 10 copies of the old Wally West trades if you bring him back to life. That's all I'm saying. Just doing some bargaining here. Then when issue 4 comes out, it's just me crying. Then when issue 5 comes out, I'll just come in here and say, I don't even remember what's going on in this book. I'm paying attention to this other series over here. Have you guys read West Coast Avengers? That book is so fun. Also, I'm going to go watch the My Hero Academia movie like 10 more times right now. Just because, hey, I just feel like being uplifted and just being happy at the moment. Seriously, go watch that movie. It's really darn good. So yeah, that is the reason why I'm not really mad, even though I know I should be, is because at the moment, I'm kind of just in a big void. I'm just like, dude, I don't know what's gonna happen in this, but I see possibilities where I will not be mad at this. I see possibilities where I will be mad at this. I just have to wait and see at the moment. However, there is one thing that I am disappointed with. I don't want to say angry, and I will say why I don't want to say angry in just a second. It's that I'm disappointed in the fact that this is another instance of a comic book coming in here and just telling us, hey, a beloved character is going to die. And I can't stand that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you can't kill off characters. I'm not saying that at all. As I've said many times, I want to see these character stories eventually come to an end. Not every character gets to walk off into the sunset and be happy. Some characters are going to eventually die. It's just part of telling stories. And I know that in comics, death doesn't really mean anything anymore. In fact, in all honesty, that's another reason why I'm not that upset about this. Because, yeah, as I said, Wally has been killed so many times over, and he's always come back. But, as I've said, I am just really sick of companies coming in here and just saying, hey, you know that character that you have spent decades of your life, or not even decades, maybe you've only read a couple issues, maybe you are a brand new fan out there, but you found a character that you connected with. You found a character that had something important to you in there, had a character that you instantly related to and they meant something important to you. We're going to murder them, maybe. You have to buy this book to find out. I have actually talked about this before, and I've said that to me, that is the equivalent of holding your favorite character hostage. You're basically pointing a gun at this character's head and going, you gotta buy this book to know whether or not they live or die. I honestly kind of find that disgusting, and I don't appreciate it at all. And it's one of the reasons why I've brought this up many times, but yeah, comics, I'm just kind of getting jaded to them. And part of it has to do with the fact that, yeah, I don't like the idea that the life or death of a character who has meant so much to me, or to other people even. It might be a character I don't care about at all, but other people care about, and it's important to them. I don't like the idea of their very existence being used as a bargaining chip to convince us to go and buy this issue. It's not a sales tactic that I'm happy with. And that is the reason why I wanted to say disappointed and not say angry. And it's another reason why I didn't want to come in here and rant and rave and just make a big scene in this issue. It's because the internet has now become a huge promotional tool for any form of entertainment out there. And companies are realizing that now. And you might be asking, well, why would they want to make these fans mad? It's so that people will get up here on the internet and go, this is the worst thing ever and I absolutely hate this. And then people go, wait, you hate this because the character died? Oh man, that sounds like a big deal. Character died, I gotta go and pick that up. Yeah, me coming in here and talking about how much I hate Wally West dying, it's another form of promoting the death of Wally West, which will get people to go out there and buy the death of Wally West. And I don't like the idea of people being emotionally manipulated in order to increase sales. And that to me is kind of what's going on here. When I look at the death of Roy Harper and the death of Wally West, I don't see that as being like a big emotional thing, which in all fairness, I am not blaming Tom King at all on this thing. I think that this was a very personal story to Tom King that he wanted to tell, but I do feel like the death of Roy Harper, the death of Wally West, was kind of a business decision because they knew, hey, these big characters, it would get people to come in here and buy this book. And honestly, to me, it's, I did not want to talk about this anymore. It's another Batman penis situation. Yeah, remember last week, just last week, when Batman Damned came out, and they had Batman's penis in the book. Like, just full on, it's right there. Still weird to me to think that anybody thought that was an okay thing to do. I'm not a prude. I'm totally okay with the human body being shown in a mature rated book. I totally understand that. But yeah, man, listen, this isn't some unknown character. It's Batman. And I saw so many people from DC coming in here and just saying, wow, I'm shocked that this is actually a controversy at all. Really? Have you met America? This is a country where parents will let their child play Mortal Kombat, a game where people are ripped in half and blood and guts just spill out. But if in the next Mortal Kombat game, Raiden was just walking around with his junk hanging out, yeah, man, they would burn NetherRealm Studios to the game. That would be the thing that got every parent in America to go, you're not playing this anymore. The death and gore and brutal violence, that was totally okay, but oh my god, part of a human body was shown in here? Grab my pearls. No! Not my little Timmy. No, he can't see that. Yeah, I totally realized going into this, oh, this is going to be a huge deal. And the fact that DC, they clearly knew this was going to be a big deal. Like, I bought that book on Comixology, and it was already pre-censored in there, and I just look at that, and it's like, okay, it was pre-censored in the Comixology books before you announced you were going to censor it in any future versions of the book. You knew goddamn well what you were doing with this. You knew exactly what you were doing with this. You put that in there so that you could then completely get rid of it in all future printings of the book so that people would race to their comic book store to get that book. And I have seen comic book stores selling that book for 40, 50 bucks. I still have friends who work at the comic book store that I used to work at, and they have been talking on Twitter about how just a nightmare it is, about how just so many rude and aggressive customers have been racing in there because they gotta get the Batman junk book. They have to do that. Batman Damned #1 has become to comic book stores what Szechuan sauce and Rick and Morty have become to McDonald's. Just insane, rabid, foaming at the mouth fans just racing in there because they can't wait to get this. And that's exactly what DC knew was going to happen. They knew that was going to happen. They knew they were going to make the lives of the people who work at these stores an absolute nightmare. They knew that they were going to get people to just stampede into stores to try and get this. And I look at this kind of as the same thing. I look at them choosing massive characters to kill off, here to try and get people online to come in here and go, I can't believe they did this, it's the worst thing ever. So that way people who had no idea that this was a thing that was even happening would then race into the stores and go, yeah, I heard somebody talking about this being a really big deal. I need to get that book. And I don't want to be a part of that. I mean, I guess I kind of am because I have to review the book. So yeah, I came in here and I kind of had to lay out my view of it. But yeah, I'm not really mad at Wally West dying because I don't think it's real. I think there's a decent 50-50 shot here that they're just going to hit the big undo button at the end of all of this. But the other reason why I'm not that mad is because I'm not mad at Tom King for doing this. I'm mad at the people who made the decision to have Tom King do this so that way the sales would go up. And don't get me wrong, I understand comics are a tough industry. I totally understand that, listen man, comics have to compete against other mediums that are selling way better than them just because of the accessibility of other mediums, just because of the changing times, just because of changing technology, just because of the rising cost of printing comics. I understand that comic books, hey man, you gotta do whatever you can to make a book sell, but was this the only option you really had here? Was that really it? There wasn't anything else you could have done to increase sales on this book rather than just randomly killing off two beloved characters? So yeah, that's it. Those are my thoughts on Heroes in Crisis. In the end, I understand people hating it, I understand people loving it, and I'm coming down right in the middle on it because I just have to wait and see what all of this means in the end. And I'm sure that is a book that my opinion will change on about 5 or 6 times before the end of this series. And when it's all done, I will come back and give you my final thoughts on it. But the one thing that I will say is that I'm just not okay with the idea of taking characters that people love and really just putting their very existence in danger just to raise sales. And that has nothing to do with Heroes in Crisis. That has to do with what we've seen from the comic book industry for a while. Again, I'm not opposed to characters dying. I think that there have been many amazing character deaths in comic books. So my favorite moments are when a character sacrifices themselves or passes away. But that's not what this is. It was done completely off screen. And to me, that is really kind of the insulting thing about it. If it's what actually happened, which, I don't know, I'm repeating myself and I'm circling around the drain. Thank you guys very much for tuning in for my own little therapy session. Why do you say that next week we just hold comic class on a couch and I talk to you guys about what my elementary school years were like? Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be just as uplifting as this entire episode was? I gotta change careers. Comic books have been wearing me down for a while, man. They really have, and seeing business practices like this, I'm not having fun with this anymore. I need to change this channel. I honestly do. I should probably hide this, but on Monday, I'm actually going to talk to my agent, who I haven't spoken with in a while, because the guy is a massive drug fiend. You didn't need to know that, but I'm going to talk to him, see if he can actually get me maybe some different work. I'm enjoying doing this, but I can't keep talking about these books. I need to go and actually try, and I need to get something different for even a month. Even just a vacation for a month, man. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll just go somewhere for all of October. That's it. Are we still recording this?